Hello there. All right. So in this lesson, we are going to have a little discussion and give you some tips on how you guys can actually improve your spoken English. All right. I know that we are all going through some difficulties when you are actually in the process of improving your English. So while you are going through this on daily basis, I can really attest, I can really understand your experience because of the many students that I have at my disposal who are always telling me about the troubles that they are going through on a daily basis. So in this video, I'm going to introduce three powerful, three powerful exercises that can help you improve and enhance your English speaking abilities consistently. So please pay attention because you're going to get some of the best tips that you have never heard or probably you have not really given a lot of importance before so that you can really be able to improve and speak your English as a native. These are very important tips. So many people face significant challenges when they try to improve their English speaking skills. So common issues include difficulty with pronunciation. All right. So when we want to speak, we have a problem with pronunciation. Now, when you are struggling with pronunciation, this kind of like takes you back a little bit. This demoralizes you. Okay. But just remember, just like the way a baby is in the baby steps, in the early language learning, they always make a lot of mistakes. They always have lots of pronunciation issues. So you are going to have, to look into yourself as a person who's going through almost the same process as that baby. But if you're trying to run before you crawl, then that's going to bring a little bit of some issues. So we need to take some baby steps, guys. All right. So the pronunciation brings about the lack of confidence and limited opportunities to practice with native speakers. So you also have to give your time to talk to people who know the language naturally, or at least near native people, so that you can always have a pronunciation and you can have different occasions or different scenarios always being repeated on the daily basis. You know, you're also going to have the clear picture of the kind of vocabulary that is always being used by native speakers or near native speakers. All right. I'm not the kind of person who is really strict on getting students to really learn English from natives, but you can always practice your English with anyone who has a clear accent and is very fluent in English. So these hurdles of pronunciation and the lack of confidence, the lack of opportunities like opportunities of having a time with the native speakers, they can make daily improvement seem daunting and discouraging. So, how do we move forward from here? Okay, so let's dive into the first exercise. Remember, we have three issues. One is the issue of pronunciation. The second issue is the issue of confidence. And of course, if you don't have a good pronunciation, then automatically your confidence is also going to be reducing. And finally, the lack of opportunity of getting someone who you'll be able to practice your spoken language every time. Remember, we're just talking about the spoken language here. It's a totally different situation if we are talking about a written language or reading and listening skills. So if you want to improve these other things, we're going to talk about these in the future videos. All right, stick with me here. So one of the things that are going to help you improve your pronunciation is the easiest and mostly sometimes felt like a silly thing, you know, tongue twisters. So, how many of you guys have really sat down and said, well, let me just practice this tongue twister? She sells seashells or the seashell. You know, if can tie a tie. Why can't I tie a tie? When can tie a tie? So, you have all these tongue twisters which are going to get your tongue to turn and turn and turn and turn. And that's going to give you the accent in a very few time. You know, we always overlook tongue twisters. All right. So one of the examples of these tongue twisters, sorry, as you can see right now, I'm also having my tongue being twisted, is she sells seashells at the seashore. All right. And you start with the very simple ones and move on to more complex tongue twisters. All right. But you do that gradually. And there are very many websites like the ones that I'm going to give you right down here in the link below this video, where you are going to see links to the different kinds of tongue twisters. Or nowadays, you don't even need websites. All you need is ChatGPT. So you can just go to ChatGPT and use the prompt that I'm going to provide down here in the video so that you can get a list of tongue twisters which gradually move from the simplest to the most difficult tongue twisters. Okay, all right. So the exercise of tongue twisters helps to train your mouth muscles and your tongue, and it enhances your ability to pronounce difficult sounds correctly. And in this way, you'll of course ultimately be able to solve the issue of pronunciation. Okay? So we're done with one of the problems. So the second exercise involves engaging in daily conversations with native speakers or language exchange partners. All right. So you have a teacher who's from the USA, or you have a friend who's into languages, or is an English teacher. He's got a very nice accent. They are fluent. So that one is going to force you to really listen to the difficult kinds of pronunciation in the vocabulary that those native speakers are actually speaking at the time of conversation. At the beginning, it might sound a little bit difficult because you're struggling to hear a language. You know, maybe you are a beginner, or let's say you're just an intermediate or elementary student. But then once you get used to hearing that accent from that particular person over and over and over again, then your listening skills improve, and that one is channeled into your mouth because you have to give, you know, um, an answer, or you have to have a conversation with that particular person. And naturally, you're actually picking up the accent of the native speaker too, or of the fluent person that you were having a conversation to. So, so platforms like, let's say, Tandem or Meetup can connect you with people who are fluent in English. I'm going to provide links for these platforms too in the video right below this video. So regular conversation, again, can help you build your confidence. Remember, we talked about pronunciation, and now we're dealing with confidence. So when you're having that regular conversation with the native speakers, then you're actually building up your confidence in speaking the language. So learn colloquial expressions. Like for example, going to bed, have breakfast, take a nap, stuff like that. All these are called colloquial expressions, the kind of phrases which are always used together with some other words to bring out a particular meaning. All right. So with colloquial expressions, if you want a different video about this, I'm also going to make a video about colloquial expressions in the future just for you. So just watch out this channel. All right. And the other way is the other advantage of having to speak with the native speakers, apart from just improving your colloquial expressions, amount of colloquial expressions that you have, you also get to improve your speaking skills in real world context. You may be discussing about politics with your friend, so you hear how people are discussing politics in the native speakers world, in the English speaking countries. All right, maybe you're talking about, let's say, a particular movie series. All right, so with these ones too, they give you a real context of how these kind of discussions are made. The culture is actually being portrayed into you, into the language. So you need to pay attention on the way these things are being relayed to you. All right. So finally, to sum up, we are just going to round up by saying that so you need to do particular things for you to be able to improve your speaking skills. So one, you need to improve your pronunciation, and two, you got to improve your confidence, and three, you need to do lots of practice. All right. So by doing lots of practice, you can practice with a native speaker. All right. Or if you want, you can practice with a bot. I like, you say we've got a lot of applications where you can just speak them to, but these ones don't seem so natural. Some people might find it okay, but other people do not feel like they're talking to someone. They kind of like feel like you're talking to yourself. And these apps don't really get you to measure yourself. How much of your speaking level have you improved? They just let you speak. All right. So if you just want to get some extra, in my view, I think you should get the native speaker or the person who's very fluent in English together with the apps and try to immerse yourself. Try to expose yourself to as more English environment as you can. And folks, these are the three main exercises that you can do to improve your spoken English. All right? And I hope to see you in the next lesson.